gonna be so.
You are now flying.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. There come around times when I lose myself, then I bruise myself. I can't relax, I'm losing breath. It's like I went ahead and swallowed blue pills to death. But goddamn, man, it's draining all my energy. I'm becoming like my enemies. The devil came and then he entered me. Gotta activate my energy. God, have to repent and then activate God. Fasting and praying, then activate God. Changing my ways, get counseling, studying, praying, applying, and oh my God, gotta convert, transform into my prime diverse. Like rapping into sinking, what a progress that I'm making. No more dollars, cause I'm changing. Morphing time, I'm power ranging. You can't be the same you were before. If you gon' stick around, gotta change your ways, be born again. If you gon' get your crown, man, you want to go and pray. But before you do, yeah, first you got to change. Change, yeah, change, 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 yeah, change. Please get out my face and make a change. Change, change, yeah, change, change, change. Before you go pray, just make a change. Change, 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 change. God don't hear your prayers unless you change. Change, 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 change. Convert your soul and go make a.
Brother, win or lose, I can't look back, that's a sin or two. My mind in about things feeling like Noah. Hoping I can plant me a seed or two. I got a seed to save, cause you can see the day is getting more wicked. What Ephesians say, pray the most high, let me see the day. Better yet, even worthy to see a gate. Better than the bills that we see today. Staring at a mountain hill, hope I get a slate. Knowing that I gotta kill all my childish ways. Life inside my mind is wicked way. Who gon' set the scourges on my thoughts? Give me discipline along the way. Wisdom only move when you involve. You just have to study, fast and pray. Apply, I got to see the God that feeds my soul to reach the heights. It's never steep, don't fall asleep. The devil peeps to catch you slipping out pride. Now you caught in a Jesus peace. Our mind will blow if we don't watch our steps and follow peace. To keep the laws, examine thee. We all got falls, we all gon' see the second come. I hope you peep that, but first you got to
change, change, yeah, change, 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 yeah, change. Please get out my face and make a change. Change, change, yeah, change, change, change. Before you go pray, just make a change. Change, 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 change. God don't hear your prayers unless you change. Change, 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 change. Convert your soul and go make a.
You are now flying.
I will finish strong as I repent. Your will be done. Your will be done. Keep out your commandments, your laws in my head. Your will be done.
are now flying.
Southwest.
A man's specific roles is something he's been told to take care of his family, protector of his home, to teach you right, turn it front row. He's known for always being strong, provide the chief things in life to carry on. Water when you're thirsty, you got drink. Bread for when you're hungry, you can't eat. Clothes to cover your back to your knees. That's what I'm created for. Provide the roof and many more. Just love me right, I'll give you more. First you gotta play your role. We are different, got to blame. We are not built the same. The difference in our frame from man to woman. Order's been here since we came. Anything else is in vain. So live up to your name. Oh yeah, God, Christ, man, woman, and children. That's divine order from God. Yeah, God, Christ, man, woman, and children.
I gonna let go of my pride, put my feelings to the side, yeah. Please you till the day I die, oh yeah. It is my desire. What do you need? Bring it to me, and I will do it speedily. What pleases you, that pleases me, and I cannot deny. I love the way you love me. You want me silent, and I'm loving, rising up early in the morning. I'll never leave you lonely. Yes, it is you. You got me till the end of time. I cannot fight true desire. I follow you, you follow Christ, you know.
We are different, got to blame. We are not built the same. The difference in our frame from man to woman. Order's been here since we came. Anything else is in vain. So live up to your name. Oh yeah, God, Christ, man, woman, and children.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Rise and face Jerusalem. Rise and face Jerusalem, Israel. Men of Israel, blow trumpets. Trumpets down. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, God of all, and behold us. And send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. And let them know thee, as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O God. Show new signs, and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. Make the time short. Remember the covenant and let them declare thy wonderful works. Let him that escapeth be consumed by the rage of fire. And let them perish that oppress the people. Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none other but we. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together and inherit thou them as from the beginning. O Lord, have mercy upon the people that is called by thy name and upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. O be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, the place of thy rest. Fill Zion with thy unspeakable oracles and thy people with thy glory. Give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. Reward them that wait for thee, and that thy prophets be found faithful. Holy Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we come before you humbly giving you praise, honor, and glory, Heavenly Father. Asking that you allow us to continue to strive in this truth and fight and bring it forth back to the 12 tribes of Israel and restore us back into righteous sons and daughters, Heavenly Father. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, Heavenly Father. We also pray that you put the Spirit upon our bishop, deacons, captains, officers, soldiers, the men, women, and children. Keep us healthy, Heavenly Father, in mind, body, and spirit. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Repeat after me. Hallelujah! 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 Heavenly Father, we also pray that you continue to increase our faith and protect us from the plagues that are put upon the earth, Heavenly Father. And we ask that you pray over the body and the food and the drink. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Men of Israel, hand salute. Salute down. Face sisters. To the honorable daughters of Sarah, we say shalom.
All right. All praise, all praises. All right. Shalom, Israel. This is Captain OC. I'm here with, who I'm here with?
Officer Obadiah.
Officer Obadiah. We finna get it in today, Lord's will. Life lasts. We got a fun class today. We're going to go into some prophecy, go into some history, and show some things that may not be seen to the darkened eyes of our people. So today's class is called The Underbelly of the Beast. All right, the underbelly of the beast. We're going to show you first off, we're going to show you who the beast is, and then we're going to show you how they accumulated their power and wealth. All right, we're going to go through the scriptures and history to illustrate those things. Before we do, let's get that definition of what the word underbelly means. Let's get that.
Underbelly, the lower abdomen, posterior ventral area as of an animal's body.
Scroll down. I want number 4.
Number 4, a dark, seamy, often hidden area or side.
So that's the key part that I want. It is a dark, seamy, or often hidden area or side. Read that example.
A police officer continually exposed to the underbelly of society.
So the underbelly is what is not seen to the common eye. Only those that are awakened, or as they say in the conscious society, they got their third eye open. Those are the only people that can see the things that are in the underbelly. Now, we're going to deal with the beast part. We're going to deal with the beast. Go to Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. When you read the Bible, it speaks in different languages. A lot of times you're reading one thing, and it does not mean what it's literally saying. All right? Read that.
Hosea chapter 12, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and used similitudes.
And use what?
Similitudes.
Use similitudes. Read.
By the ministry of the prophets.
So he used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Read.
Is there iniquity in Gilead?
So read that again from the top. My bad.
I have also spoken by the prophets.
Uh-huh.
And I have multiplied visions.
Multiplied visions.
And used similitudes.
And use similitudes. So when we speak about the underbelly of the beast, we're not talking about a literal beast. We're talking about a people. We're talking about a nation. We're talking about a kingdom. All right. And as we go throughout the scriptures today, we're going to reveal who that is. All right. From there, go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 18. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 18, dealing with the beast.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 18.
Uh-huh.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Concerning the estate of the sons of men, pay attention, read.
That God might manifest them.
Uh-huh.
And that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
That they themselves are what?
Are beasts.
That they themselves are beasts. God is letting you know when you read the Bible, certain times men are compared to beasts. Nations are compared to animals. All right? So, from there, let's go to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 1. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 1. Because the underbelly of the beast, there's a specific beast that we're going to deal with today. And this is the most controversial beast that we're going to deal with. Because a lot of people don't know That's why they call it Mystery Babylon as we get to it in the scriptures later. All right, read that.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1.
Daniel 7:1. Read that.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter.
Now, Daniel was a prophet. Daniel was chosen of God. Everybody that have a dream is not prophetic scriptures. Understand that, because a lot of our people, y'all have a dream and you think you run with it. Give me Sirach 33 real quick, just to disprove that real quick about dreams. It's either Sirach 33 or 34 about dreams lifting up fools. Everybody ain't Daniel the prophet. Yep, read that.
Sirach chapter 34, verse 1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
They are vain and false. Read.
And dreams lift up fools.
And dreams lift up fools. So everybody that have a dream, understand, you are not Daniel. All right? So go back to Daniel 7.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter.
So he was able to understand it. Read.
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Now, four great beasts came up diverse one from another. He's talking about four different kingdoms right here. Read.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
The first was like a lion. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. All right. This first kingdom that he sees is Babylon. All right. It had eagle's wings because it conquered quickly. Read.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth.
Read.
And made stand upon the feet as a man.
And it was made to stand upon their feet as a man. Read.
And a man's heart was given to it.
The man's heart that was given unto Babylon was Daniel. Daniel interpreted the dreams for the king of Babylon, and that is how they got to where they were going. He also dreamed and had a vision of how it was going to end. That was the man's heart that was given to Babylon. Read.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear.
The second beast was like unto a bear. This is the next kingdom. All right, this is the next kingdom that came after. It was like unto a bear. Read.
And it raised up itself on one side.
Now this is talking about the Persian Mede kingdom, the next empire that came. And it raised up itself on one side. Why? Because it was a two-headed kingdom. One kingdom was higher than the other. All right. Read, and it says it raised up on its side, one side. Read, and it had what?
And it had three ribs in the mouth of it.
And it had three ribs. Let's see what those three ribs were. Go to Isaiah 45 and verse 14. So right now we're showing you that these beasts are nations, are kingdoms. All right, and the attributes of them. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 14. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt, and merchandise of Ethiopia.
The merchandise of Ethiopia.
And of the Sabians.
And of the Sabians. So the three main countries that it conquered along with the other nations was Egypt, Ethiopia, and the Sabians. Those are the three ribs that the Persian Mede Empire conquered. All right, go back to Daniel.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear.
Read.
And it raised up itself on one side. And it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it.
Read.
And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Right, because the Persian Mede Empire conquered a lot as well, just like the Babylonians. Read.
After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard.
Like a leopard. The next kingdom was like a leopard. Read.
Which had upon the back of it four wings of
on this leopard, you had four what?
Four wings of a fowl.
Four wings of the fowl. This is talking about the Grecian rule or kingdom. And Alexander the Greek, not great, Alexander the Greek. And the four wings were his four generals. All right, the 4 wings were his 4 generals, and he conquered lots of land. He had Seleucus, Ptolemy, Lysimachus, and Cassander. Those were those 4 that ruled with him. Read.
The beast had also 4 heads,
Uh-huh.
and dominion was given to it.
Right, because he died. When Alexander died, his 4 generals reigned in his stead because he was a homosexual. That's why he ain't Alexander the Great. Read.
After this I saw in the night visions,
Uh-huh.
and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible.
A
and,
4th beast, dreadful and terrible. Read.
and strong exceedingly.
Uh-huh.
And it had great iron teeth.
Uh-huh.
It devoured and brake in pieces.
Read.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
Now, notice, when you read it, it does not give the description of that beast. It does not tell you the beast. The rest of them, it tell you right away. It said it was a lion. Then it said it was a bear. Then it said it was a leopard. But when you get to that 4th beast, it does not tell you right there. Let's see. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 12 and verse 11. 2nd Ezra, chapter 12 and verse 11.
2nd Ezra, chapter 12, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
The eagle, whom thou sawest come up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in
Hold on. Read it again.
The eagle, whom thou sawest.
The eagle. The eagle. So now it lets you know what beast we're talking about. That's why the Bible says precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little and there a little. Read.
The eagle, whom thou sawest come up from the sea, is the kingdom.
Is the what?
Is the kingdom.
Is the kingdom. Now it's letting you know that these animals are kingdoms. So when you go to the book of Revelations and you see in a dragon and you see in the eagle and all these different things, it's talking about men. It's talking about nations. It's talking about kingdoms. Don't get confused reading white man commentary. Read.
Is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel.
You see that? Is the vision. So it's letting you know what Daniel was speaking about. That 4th beast was a eagle. Go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 11 and verse 40.
2nd Ezra, chapter 11, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th came and overcame all the beasts
So this 4th beast, the eagle, when he came, he overcame all the beasts. Read.
that were past, and had power over the world.
And had what?
Power over the world.
And had power over the whole world. Read.
With great fearfulness.
Uh-huh.
And over the whole compass of the earth.
Uh-huh.
With much wicked oppression.
With what?
Much wicked oppression.
So the 4th beast was the eagle. It originally was Rome. America is now that extension of Rome. It is the 4th beast. But I'm going to show you that throughout the scriptures with history as well. So now that we know who the beast is, we're going to be able to open up the Bible a little bit better. Go to Revelation 17 and 5. Revelations chapter 17 and verse 5. Notice, if that 4th beast was just Rome and not America, then the Bible would be done. We would be in the kingdom of heaven. But we're still here. We're still in captivity. Read that.
Revelations chapter 17, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great.
What is it written?
Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Uh-huh.
The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
So, this 4th beast, it is a mystery of who it really is. America is the land of the free, the home of the brave. It is everything that you dream of. Immigrants been trying to come over here for years. You got Levi, they get on boats, they swim over here. They do anything they can to get to America. But why would they want to get to America if this was Babylon the Great? Because it is a mystery. I'm going to show you why it's a mystery. Play that first video on yep, you got it up already. I'm going to show you why it's a mystery of where and who Babylon is. Because when you read throughout the Bible, Babylon is an evil place. It is the home of all wickedness. But America masks itself as what? A Christian nation. This is the place where you have the Constitution. all men are created equal with inalienable rights. You have the American dream, so on and so forth. Freedom of religion, all these different things. But we're going to see. Go ahead.
To all of those suffering, let there be no doubt that the United States is with you, and we are proud to stand with the partners here today. The United States has contributed more than $9 billion for humanitarian assistance last year, and more than $70 billion in humanitarian assistance over the past decade.
Pause.
Above and beyond this long-standing...
America has given over $70 billion in humanitarian aid. So what does that mean? All the countries on the face of the earth love America. Why? Because they give them money. They give them riches that they need to sustain themselves as a country. But with that comes a price. We're going to show you that later. But this is why this place is Mystery Babylon. This is why all the other people all across the world, they confused. They're like, are they good or are they bad? But you got to have your third eye open to see. With that $1 trillion that they give you, it comes with homosexuality. With the democracy, it comes the death of your culture and your beliefs. Like a lot of people praise them for what they did in Afghanistan, but now the women are wearing pants. Porn is running rapid. There's no order in the households. That's because that's what comes when you dance with the devil. When you take that aid, everything that comes with American culture comes in. Play the rest of the video.
Commitment to international humanitarian assistance, the United States has provided more than $900 million this year alone in humanitarian assistance directly related to global COVID-19 response. In addition to this official assistance from the United States government, we have the generosity of American private businesses, nonprofit groups, charitable organizations, faith-based organizations, and individuals who have mobilized more than $4.9 billion in private donations and assistance to the global COVID-19 response.
So, you see that? Pause that right there. Leave that up there on the screen so they can see that. Can they see that, IT? Can they see that eagle? I want to keep that eagle up there so they can see that. Pull it back on the screen. They can see it? All right, look at that. The United States of America. Look what's up there. The eagle. The eagle. Keep that in mind. So, give me Revelation 18:4 real quick. Revelations chapter 18 and verse 4.
Revelations chapter 18, verse 4.
Because remember, we just read over $70 billion given in humanitarian aid. Read that.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out.
No, I want 3. My bad. 3.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Uh-huh.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Uh-huh.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy.
You see that? The merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Part of that is what? This aid that comes from America. The corporations that do business with certain companies and countries. When you have Walmarts in South America, when you have McDonald's in China, when you have all these different corporations dealing with them, they're all based in coming out of America. Social media starts where? In America. Your movies start in America. Your music starts in America. Everything starts right here with the beast that we're reading about, that fourth beast, which is America. From there, play the next video on the stimulus checks. Yep. Okay. No, that's what I want. Yeah. No, that's good right there. Yep. Read that.
Biden's budget.
Hold on. So we showed you just a second ago, we showed you the aid that goes throughout the world. That's why other countries, they're confused. They don't know who Babylon is because they get aid. Now, this is why our own people, the Israelites here, this is why we don't want to say that America is Babylon. Read that.
Biden's budget, a future that's built on government dependence. Instead of addressing record inflation, encouraging work, and preventing a recession, Biden's budget expands welfare without work incentives, trapping a new generation of Americans in poverty and dependence. 2.6 trillion in new entitlement program spending.
How much?
2.6 trillion.
So, the poor of our people, they are spending $2.6 trillion to supposedly aid our people. When I was putting this class together, when you look before the welfare state was established in black and brown communities, we were a lot better off as a nation. A lot better off. When welfare was instituted in our communities, all our numbers went sky high. Single-parent households, drugs, imprisonment, everything went through the roof. Because with that aid comes certain policies and procedures that have to be put in place. One of them, the major one, is that the man was taken out of the household. Marriage was not encouraged when aid was given to our people. All right, go back. I just want you to read those different things that they're giving. Biden budget expands in entitlement. Just read the line.
Child tax credit expansion for 3 years.
So they get benefits for having children. Read.
Government child care.
When you let the government take care of your children, they're giving them money for that. Read.
Government paid family leave.
Uh-huh.
Government preschool.
Uh-huh.
4 states to expand Medicaid.
Medicaid. So you're getting schooling. You're getting housing. You're getting Medicaid. Go ahead.
Expand Indian health service.
The reservations for Northern Kingdom.
Medicaid home and community-based care services.
Uh-huh.
Expand EITC.
Uh-huh.
Expand Obamacare subsidies.
Uh-huh.
Double Pell Grants.
College.
Free community college.
Free community college.
Expand housing subsidies.
Public housing.
Public health. Behavioral health.
So this is why we cannot see that America is the beast that is written of. Because they give you everything you desire. Food, shelter, clothing, college, education, everything. That is why it's called Mystery Babylon. But we're going to show you behind all those things what comes with it. All right? Go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. This is why people can't see it. And this is why the title of the class is The Underbelly of the Beast. Because all we see is the bright and flashy things. We see the 2.6 trillion. We see the 70 billion. And we're not seeing what's really going on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
What the Bible say?
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Oppression makes a wise man mad. Read.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
A what?
A gift destroyeth the heart.
America is, what's the word I'm looking for? Infamous for its gifts. America is infamous for its gifts. $2.6 trillion worth of gifts to the black and brown community. When y'all got y'all stimulus checks, it was God bless America. Things was getting hard. They say, give them $3,000 and they'll be happy. And everybody forgot about everything. Like, you got your check yet? I got mine. I'm good. America is all right. Y'all all right with me. So that's what they do. That's what they do. So from there, go to Revelations chapter 12 and verse 1. Revelations chapter 12 and verse 1.
Revelations chapter 12 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven.
Uh-huh.
A woman clothed with the sun.
So it says there appeared a great wonder in heaven. Go to Genesis 37 and verse 9. Genesis chapter 37 and verse 9.
Genesis chapter 37 verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And he dreamed yet another dream,
Mm-hmm.
and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
So he said the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made what?
Obeisance to me.
All right. So this was a dream that Joseph had, that his brothers would bow before him. This is talking about what happened in Egypt, but it's also making reference to what's going on in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1. It's referencing our history. Read that again.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven,
Uh-huh.
a woman clothed with the sun.
A woman clothed with the sun. Who's that woman? Give me Jeremiah 6 and 2. And I'm going here to show you. We're going to jump down. I'm showing here to show you why we don't see who this beast is. We're going to jump down in this chapter. And I'm going to show you what happened to make us not know who the beast was. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
To a what?
Comely and delicate woman.
So, Israel is compared to a woman. Go back to Revelations.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet.
With the sun and the moon. What are those? Those were two great lights. What is the light? Proverbs 6 and 23.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23.
Uh-huh.
For the commandment is a lamp,
Uh-huh.
and the law is light.
The law is light. So the woman that was clothed with the sun and moon, the nation of Israel with the law, statutes, and commandments. Go to Baruch 4 and 2.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof.
Walk in what?
In the presence of the light thereof.
Uh-huh.
That thou mayest be illuminated.
That thou mayest be illuminated. So that light is the commandments of God. Go back to Revelation.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet.
Uh-huh.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
A crown of 12 stars. The 12 stars are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. What happened to these to this woman? Go down to verse 14.
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle,
Uh-huh.
that she might fly into the wilderness.
So what happened? The 2 wings, Titus and Vespasian, pushed us into the wilderness, Africa. As Bishop has been showing all the deacons, the captains, we've been showing you, we were pushed into the outer coast of Africa after 70 A.D. Read.
Into the wilderness, into her place.
Into her what?
Into her place.
Into her place. The place is now America. We went from the west coast of Africa, east coast of Africa, to America, South Central, and North America. That is the place. And what happened when we got to that place? What happened when we got to that place? We were nourished for a time. $2.6 trillion nourishments. Read Hosea 1 and verse 10. First, we're going to prove to you the place. Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10.
Hosea chapter 1 verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass that in the place
That
where
what?
in the place
That in the place, read.
where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
Where was it said that we were not God's people? It wasn't in Africa. It wasn't in Israel. Only in America is where we were told that we were not God's people. This is the place. This is the place. The so-called natives, they went to boarding school. They lost their identity. The so-called black man, we went through chattel slavery where we lost our complete identity. Name, history, culture, clothing, dietary, everything taken. This is the place where we were said we were not God's people. Read it again.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea,
Uh-huh.
which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people,
Uh-huh.
there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
There it shall be said that you are the sons of the living God. Go back to Revelation chapter 12. So now we understand where the place is. What happened in that place? Read that.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished.
Where she is what?
Where she is nourished.
Where she is nourished. This is the place where we have been nourished. And this goes back to Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. It says a gift destroyeth what? The heart. The gift destroyeth the heart. So all that nourishment that we had, we have forgotten. We don't even think that America could be the place that is written of, that is Babylon the Great. That doesn't come to cross our mind at all. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. All right? Go ahead. You have something? All right? So, we were nourished here in America. All right? We were nourished here in America for a time from the serpent. So, from the second we got to this place, during slavery, they gave us food, they gave us clothing, they gave us religion, they gave us everything, a place to live. Even though it was unrighteous, but they gave us everything that we had. We were nourished from the white man. Post-slavery, we had sharecropping. After sharecropping, we had government assistance, public housing, free education, food stamps. All these things, God calls these things the nourishment from what? The serpent. We were nourished from the serpent. All right? So, why can't Israel see that America is the serpent? Because July 4th, y'all in Chicago, one of the more oppressed places on the face of the earth, were they shooting fireworks? They were shooting fireworks in Chicago? Wow. In Chicago, they still think they're Americans. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So that lets you know we are under witchcraft. We are in, no matter where you at. So, what I told you to get, Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47 and verse 8. Now I'm going to show you why people can't see it. Why can't our people see it? And that's why this is the underbelly. What we're going to show you is not seen to the common eye. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 47, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly,
Uh-huh.
that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Read.
I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
Uh-huh.
But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day.
In one day. Read.
The loss of children and widowhood.
Uh-huh.
They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries.
For what?
For the multitude of thy sorceries.
America is a place of sorcery. TV. Where was television created at? Y'all know? Television was created right here. What was the internet created? Right here. All evils upon the face of the earth was created right here in America. Satellites, all those different things to communicate messages, it was made here in America. It wasn't made in Rome. It wasn't made in Great Britain. It wasn't made in Iraq. It was right here in America. This is the great whore. Read it again. For the multitude of what? For the perfection. Read that.
It come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries.
For the multitude of thy sorceries. Read.
And for the great abundance of thine enchantment.
And the great abundance. The great abundance of thine enchantments. Because America has many different ways it can catch you up. If they don't get you in music, they get you in education. They don't get you in education, they get you in sports. They don't get you in sports, they get you in government. They don't get you in government, they get you in this or that. There's no way around this beast unless you're keeping the commandments of God. That's it. That's the only way out. Play that video.
Now they lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever be fixed. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on. The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream. because you have to be asleep to believe it.
So, notice what he said. He said you have to be asleep. You have to be asleep to see it. And guess what? Guess what God said about our people? What state we in? We sleep. We sleep as a people. I'm going to show you that in the Bible. So the white man prophesied. He accidentally prophesied. Isaiah 29:10. He might be Northern Kingdom. I don't know. We can't judge by appearance. Isaiah 29:10. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
The Lord put a spirit of deep sleep upon our people. That's why when we go to the streets and we tell our people, you the Israelites, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. We tell them Jesus is black. They say, no, it don't matter what color he is. Because we sleep. We want to chase that American dream so bad that anything that comes against that, anything that comes against the hand that feeds them, they don't want to hear that. Read.
And hath closed your eyes.
Have what?
Closed your eyes.
That's why we can't see it. That's why our people cannot see it. Read.
The prophets and your rulers,
the
seers hath he covered.
He have covered their eyes. These prophets today, they don't want to see it at all. From there, go to Matthew 13 and verse 13. So we're showing you right now why people don't see the things that we're going to show to you in a second. The underbelly. We ain't got to the topic yet. We leading up to it. We getting to it. The underbelly of the beast. Read that.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 13.
Therefore
speak I to them in parables, because they seeing, see not.
Because they seeing, see not. Read.
And hearing, they hear not.
And hearing, they hear not. Read.
Neither do they understand.
Neither do they understand. I'm going to show you how deep sleep our people in. Our people will celebrate Juneteenth. And a few weeks later, have the nerve to celebrate July 4th and think nothing of it. You can't have two independences. You can't have it like that. Or at least have the knowledge to understand, okay, Juneteenth, that's celebrated June 19th, 1865. July 4th is 1776. Is this my independence or not? There's a reason why they made Juneteenth. But our people don't get it. They sleep. They sleep. Hearing and seeing, they see not. Neither do they understand. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand.
Read.
And seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive.
They don't perceive what's going on. Isaiah 60 and verse 2. Isaiah 60 and verse 2.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
And gross darkness the people. Our people are in gross darkness as a nation of people. We are blinded to all the atrocities. Unless somebody have a knee on their neck for 8 minutes, we ain't in oppression. I ain't heard nobody crying about injustice since. Everybody was black, Black Lives Matter, everything. All of that was cool when George Floyd was in front of you. You take away George Floyd, now the color of Jesus don't matter no more. The white man ain't the devil no more. Yeah, go ahead, please.
And another thing that's helping continue the gross dark cap is the gifts, as you stated above earlier. The gifts is what's blinding our people. These gifts, Section 8, stimulus, all these things continue to blind our people. So when we go out there and teach our people, they don't see and understand the truth. Why? Because their daddy, Esau, has given them everything. You know what I'm saying? And to go back as well, Cap, to us being in this state of sleep, we not go see it. Our people not go see it because of the gifts.
100%. Go to Romans 13:11. Romans chapter 13 and verse 11.
The book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time.
Now it is high time to what?
To awake out of sleep.
It's high time to awake out of sleep. Read.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
So we got to wake our people up. They got to see and understand what's going on. Ephesians 5 and 14. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. Because we understand as a nation we are asleep.
Ephesians chapter 5 verse 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light.
And what?
And Christ shall give thee light.
Christ is the only one that can open our people's eyes. A lot of y'all try to cry and tell your mother, your father, many times, hey, if Christ ain't choose them, they ain't waking up. They're going to remain in the darkness that they in, and it is what it is. From there, go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 6. Therefore let us not sleep as do others.
Let us what?
Let us not sleep as do others.
Let us not sleep as do others. Because those that are asleep, guess what? They following that American dream. You can't dream unless you sleep. Understand that. That's why only in America you chasing a dream. Everywhere else, you trying to get reality. But in America, they put you to sleep by the multitude of what? There's sorceries and enchantments. Go ahead.
Hey, Cap, the sleep is, the American dream, as you said, is white picket fences and houses, right? But the treatment and the examples that they give our people is what? Oppression. But the American dream tell us we can be like our oppressor. We can live like them. We can have all the, what's the word I'm looking for? Amenities that the so-called white man get. But remember, the system is set up for them to prosper, not us.
100%. From there, now that we know, what's our job? Because us that's sitting in here, the brothers that's watching the classes online, once we understand who the beast is, once we understand who we are as a people, what is our job? We just sit here and hold it to ourselves? Or do we go out and tell the people? Let's see. Jeremiah 28 and 8. Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 28 verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries.
They what?
Prophesied both against many countries.
So, our forefathers have prophesied against many countries. Read.
And against great kingdoms.
And against what?
Great kingdoms.
And against great kingdoms. That is our job. Once we find out who this beast is, we got to tell the world. That's why these other camps talking some, we in with the government. I don't think they ever watched a class before. I don't think they have ever watched a class. All we do is reveal the evils that all countries have done against the children of Israel. Because that's what our forefathers did. Read it again from the top.
The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Right, of war, of evil, and of pestilence. I remember Bishop was going over, before COVID-19, he was talking about health. Remember, he was getting everybody on a health kick. And he saw that thing was coming with COVID-19. He was prophesying of the pestilence that's coming. And guess what? It ain't over. There's going to be more things to come. I forgot Bill Gates just put out something. He said it's going to be, I think it's tuberculosis or something else. He got something else coming. So these things going to keep coming over and over and over again. Yeah, the seers. Yep. Bitch, you went over there a few weeks ago. The seers. So that thing is coming again. From there, go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Except there come a falling away first. Read.
And that man of sin.
And what?
That man of sin.
That man of sin. That beast. That eagle. What?
Be revealed.
That man of sin must be revealed. Mystery Babylon must be revealed. The great eagle must be revealed. And that's what we're doing. That's what the prophets are doing today right in front of your eyes. And if any of y'all out there in the Christian church, ask yourself, is my pastor revealing who the kingdoms of the earth are? Is he telling me who Mystery Babylon is? No, they're not doing that. Those churches are a joke. Y'all need to leave the church. So, let's get into America. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. That great beast, that eagle, let's show you that beast in the scriptures. Revelations chapter 13 and verse 1. We're going to go through this quick.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So this beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads are Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Those are the 7 heads that back the eagle, the beast that is America, that you read about in the book of Revelations. Read.
7 heads and 10 horns.
10 horns, the European Union. Read.
And upon his horns 10 crowns. And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. Read.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
He was like unto a leopard. Read.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right. He had all those attributes of those kingdoms that came before him. That's why America is mixed in everything. That's why this is the greatest kingdom that has ever been on the earth. It learned a little bit from it. It's just like the little brother. When the little brother come up, he's supposed to be better than everybody else because he saw all the mistakes that the other brothers made. The family, the father and the mother, they got a little bit more money because they ain't trying to take care of all the other kids. So you get a little bit better education. You got a little better clothes. America got to sit back and learn all the witchcraft from all the other kingdoms that came on the earth.
Hey, Cap, and also all the mistakes.
There you go.
So they perfected it.
There you go. There you go. Because some kingdoms, I think it was, Babylon, they tried to make everybody worship the same God. Didn't work. Then the Persian Medes, they came and said, you can do what you want, but you just got to pay tax. Then they saw how Rome did it. Rome did the same thing, like, oh, that work as well. But now we're going to put it in law. Now you got freedom of religion, inalienable rights. We ain't going to make a slave class eventually. We're going to let everybody be free, supposedly. But we're going to show you that underbelly that they lied on all of those things. So read that again, verse 2.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
And the dragon gave him his power. Read.
And his seat.
And his seat.
And great authority.
Satan literally gave this beast all his power. That is why all the scientific advances came right here in America. How can you watch something that's happening on the other side of the earth in front of you? How y'all looking at me on y'all screen? I don't know. Somebody explain that to me. How is this lens showing them something on the other side of the earth right now? That's Satan. That's witchcraft. I don't get it. How can I take a picture of something and I see it in front of me on the screen? It don't make sense. FaceTime. That is the works of Satan. Understand that. But we're going to use it for good. Understand it. So don't think you got to live in a box with no lights and no electricity. I'm not telling you that. Because our people simple. But that is witchcraft. Understand that. Read that part again. And the dragon gave him his power.
And the dragon gave him his power. And his seat and great authority.
And great authority. That is why nobody can defeat this man, America. Nobody has waged war on this land since they've been set up in 1776. The one time they crashed the plane, America been at war since then.
Right.
And that's it. Go ahead, Cap.
Hey, Cap, don't forget, one of the biggest things of that sorcery is what? The atom bomb. Bishop just went over. You know what I'm saying? So that's why no country is coming against America, is why their technology excels all these other countries.
There you go. There you go. Jump down to verse 12.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him.
So he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Read.
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right. Rome was healed in America. It came back what? In the form of Great Britain during the Renaissance, and then it became America. All right, America has continued the legacy that was started way back when. Give me that in Malachi chapter 1 and verse 14. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 14. How do we know that? Because they follow Roman culture. They follow the Greek buildings. Everything is fashioned after Rome.
Malachi chapter 1, verse 14.
Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
We will return and rebuild the desolate places. Read.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
So they wanted to rebuild, but the Lord will throw down. So now let's get into it. We're going to go into that wound that was healed, ultimately leading to the creation of the United States of America. Where did it start? Where did it start? Let's go to, pull up the article. Here we go right here. The papal bull. Bishop been bringing this out. Go ahead, read that.
Dum diversus. Papal bull dum diversus, 18 June 1452.
So, since the 1400s, this was the time of what? The Renaissance. The Renaissance, all the way up until today, they have been building and healing that wound that was placed upon them. Go ahead.
Pope Nicholas V issued the papal dum diversus on 18th June 1452.
So the papal bull was issued in 1452. Go ahead, read this.
It authorized Alfonso V of Portugal to reduce any Saracens, Muslims, and pagans and any other unbelievers to perpetual slavery.
So this is the foundation of America. This place that we love was built on subjugating other people to perpetual slavery. That is how it's built. When you want to know the wealth, when you want to know the grand, all this stuff that's here in America, it was based upon this. Perpetual slavery if you didn't believe in white Jesus. That's what it's built on. You can say whatever you want, but we got the documents. Go ahead, keep reading.
This facilitated the Portuguese slave trade from West Africa.
From where?
West Africa.
So this was talking about our people. Go ahead.
The same Pope wrote the bull Romanus Pontifex on January 5th, 1455, to the same Alfonso. As a follow-up to the Dum Diversus, it extended to the Catholic nations of Europe dominion over discovered lands during the Age of Discovery, along with sanctifying the seizure of non-Christian lands. It encouraged the enslavement of native.
Hold on. It encouraged what?
The enslavement of natives.
It encouraged the enslavement of natives. So our brothers, Northern Kingdom, you so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, Latinos, Latinx, understand this dealt with you as well. Y'all went on slave ships as well. We're going to show you that. Of native,
non-Christian peoples in Africa.
Non-Christian peoples in Africa. That's why they want to paint the picture that what? We can't be the Jews. Because if we were the Jews, then none of that papal bulls would have matched up. Like, no, these are the people of Christ. These are the Jews of Christ. That's why they had to make us something other than the Israelites. That's why they had to change our names, change our culture, change our history. Because if not, all of that history, all of this would have been found lies. Even though it's still being found out lies, because we know who we are. But it says non-Christian peoples in Africa, meaning what Judah, Levi, Benjamin was, and the New World, Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, were both impacted the same way. Read that.
We, weighing all and singular the premises with due meditation, and nothing that since we had formerly by other letters of ours granted among other things free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso, to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans whatsoever, and other enemies of Christ wheresoever placed, and the kingdoms, dukedoms, principalities, dominions, possessions, and all movable and immovable goods, whatsoever held and possessed by them, and to reduce their persons to perpetual slavery, and to apply and appropriate to himself and his successors the kingdoms, dukedoms, countries, principalities, dominions, possessions, and goods, and to convert them to his and their use and profit, by having secured the said faculty, the said King Alfonso, or by his authority, the aforesaid Infante, justly and lawfully has acquired and possessed, and doth possess these islands, lands, harbors, and seas, and they do of right belong and pertain to the said King Alfonso and his successors.
So the white man put it in law that he can basically own the whole earth. That's why when we read 2 Thessalonians, it says, he sitteth as he is God. Who give you the right to say all of this stuff, yeah, that's going to be for us? But they did it. We're reading it. And when you tell them that this man is the devil, they don't believe you. Read that last part in 1493.
In 1493, Alexander VI issued the bull Inter Caetera, stating one Christian nation did not have the right to establish dominion over lands previously dominated by another Christian nation, thus establishing the law of nations.
So they had to say that. Why? Because that's why they make us out to be savages. That's why when they said they found the natives, they were savages. They didn't have clothes on. We went to Africa. They didn't know any understanding of the Bible. They didn't have none of that. Meanwhile, when you go read the history, we had all that. We had all that. They were keeping the Feast of Tabernacles here. There's many books showing you they were speaking Hebrew. Read the last part. Together.
Together the Dum Diversas, the Romanus Pontifex, and the Inter Caetera came to serve as the basis and justification for the doctrine of discovery. The global slave trade.
what?
The global slave trade of the 15th and 16th centuries and the age of imperialism.
This is all how America was born. This is the foundation of America. The founding fathers are not George Washington and all these other people. The founding fathers is Christopher Columbus, Hernan Cortez, Francisco Pizarro. Those are your founding fathers, the conquistadors, who are murderers and savages. Those are the true founding fathers of America. So, from there, play the video on Columbus. The first video on Columbus, I think it was. Yep.
Is Columbus Day. It used to be. Now it's Indigenous Peoples Day. And people were saying that the reason why it shouldn't be Columbus Day is because Columbus was a monster. He came here and he killed a bunch of people, and a priest who was there who documented his experience with Columbus's people, and it was horrific. Like horrific murders, killing babies and cutting people's arms off if they don't bring them enough gold. Like wild, crazy shit. Like they were vicious, evil people. But the fucked up thing is everyone was back then. So when you hear that, you go, why the fuck do we have a Columbus Day? Like that guy was a serial killer. He's a sociopath. But then you find out, oh my God, everyone. Not everybody, but it was like fucking way more common to be a ruthless murderer. The law was a little sketchy. Getting caught with things was a little more iffy. People were just a little wilder, you know? It's a different world.
He said back then it was a little crazy. Well, last I checked, y'all did that for like 300 years. It started in the 1400s. Y'all didn't stop legalizing slavery till 1865. That could be 3 generations in a healthy family. So that's just 3 generations ago. You could have a great-grandfather that was witnessing what they're talking about. And we got that too. So go to Deuteronomy 28:31. Imperialism. Bishop went over before. He went over imperialism. He went over colonialism. So the difference between slavery and imperialism or colonialism is when you're enslaved in your own land. That's what happened to Northern Kingdom. They came to those lands and enslaved them. And then they created chattel slavery with us. We were brought to these lands and put in slavery. But go ahead, read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
Thine what?
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
When you read what happened with the natives, how they had all that land, all of their oxen were taken and slain by the white man. Read.
And thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away.
Thou what?
thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee.
Nothing was given back to them. Northern Kingdom lost all of those. Nothing was given back. Over 100 million murdered. Lands taken, being forced to reservations. Nothing was given back to them for that. This is the underbelly of the beast that is America. It's built on slavery. Jump to 33.
Verse 33.
Oh, wait, was that it on 31? Keep reading 31, my bad.
Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
Read 33.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land.
This is the key part. This is how you know it affected both of the tribes, northern and southern. The fruit of thy land. This was their land. They were forced off of it. Read.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed always. All right. Pull up this article. All right. Let's read a little bit of this.
Why Columbus Day courts controversy. Christopher Columbus's arrival in North America in 1492 undoubtedly changed the world and lives of the indigenous people he met. But was it for the better?
If you let the white man tell it, American discovery of this land in North America was good. They say we brought them food, we brought them clothes. They walk around naked. They didn't know how to do this, that. No, that's not the case. Read that. More than 500 years.
More than 500 years after he discovered the new world.
Hold on, you got to read that right. More than 500 years after he discovered. Right. He didn't discover nothing. They were living here. They were living already. They were fine. Read. The New World.
The New World, kicking off centuries of exploration and colonization of the Americas. Christopher Columbus is honored with a federal holiday on the second Monday of every October. However, as historians have continued to dig into the life of Christopher Columbus, controversy has arisen over continuing to honor the Italian explorer as a hero.
Scroll down. Yep, this is what I want.
Columbus saw indigenous Americans as obstacles. Like many European explorers, Christopher Columbus encountered indigenous people throughout his voyages. There are three main sources of controversy involving his interactions with the indigenous people he labeled Indians. The use of violence. And slavery. Northern Kingdom went into slavery. On slave ships. Keep reading. The forced conversion of native peoples to Christianity.
Who else was forced into Christianity? So-called black man. We went to church on Sunday. They did the same thing to them that they did to us. Why? Because we're the same people. Keep reading.
And the introduction of a host of new diseases that will have dramatic long-term effects on native people in the Americas. In an era in which the international slave trade was starting to grow. Columbus and his men enslaved many native inhabitants of the West Indies.
Hold on, he did what?
Enslaved many native inhabitants of the West Indies. And subjected them to extreme violence and brutality. On his famous first voyage in 1492, Columbus landed on an unknown Caribbean island after an arduous 3-month journey.
Scroll down.
On his first day in the New World, he ordered 6 of the natives to be seized, writing in his journal that he believed they would be good servants. Throughout his years in the New World, Columbus enacted policies of forced labor in which natives were put to work for the sake of profits. Later, pay attention, vocab, and all you other apologists that say Deuteronomy 28:68 don't apply to the Native Americans. Later, Columbus sent thousands, read, of peaceful Taino Indians from the island of Hispaniola to Spain.
Hold on. To where?
To Spain.
Can you walk there? You can't walk from Hispaniola to Spain. You had to get there on ship. It wasn't, and guess what? If you were sold, it was a slave ship. You dummy, this is on the History Channel. This ain't hidden news, but they want to make you believe that. And a lot of y'all follow behind that. The natives were never taken. They were taken as slaves. This is common knowledge to those who have their eyes open. That ain't sleep. So, from there, give me the video. Give me the video on the conquistadors. Video on the conquistadors.
Two decades after Columbus's famous voyages, Spanish explorers began to cross the Atlantic, lured by promises of gold and personal glory in the New World. Many accompanied Catholic missionaries, and their ships sailed with flags emblazoned with the cross. In 1513, Spanish explorer Vasco Núñez de Balboa crossed the Atlantic, then trekked on foot across Panama. He became the first European to glimpse the Pacific Ocean.
Vasco Núñez de Balboa became very famous as the one who discovered the Pacific Ocean. And he was the captain of the Darien expedition. He made it to the other side, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and he sighted the Pacific Ocean from that spot in 1513.
In 1519, another Spanish explorer, Hernán Cortés, arrived at the magnificent Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, located near present-day Mexico City. He managed to conquer this formidable city by enlisting the aid of rebellious tribes in the Aztec Empire.
He found different indigenous groups that were ready to fight on his side because actually he didn't have many men, so he couldn't have done it by himself. It was because he had indigenous allies that he was able to get to Tenochtitlan.
The Spanish used savage tactics to subdue tribes and steal their wealth. One example was Francisco Pizarro's conquest of the vast Inca kingdom located in modern-day Peru. He kidnapped the Incan king, demanded and received a ransom, and then killed the king anyway. But the smallpox germs the conquistadores brought from Europe proved more devastating than Spanish guns or swords. Nearly 90% of the native populations in the Americas would be wiped out by disease in a matter of only a few years.
All right. So 90% of the population was destroyed from smallpox. 90%. Let's see what the Bible says about that. Give me Deuteronomy 28:61.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 61.
Uh-huh.
Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So millions of our people. Millions. So let's go to the next thing, that the underbelly of this beast that they will not show you, that's not common knowledge, or that our people don't like to look at and acknowledge that this is the founding of this nation. And I just want y'all to think, if this is what America was built on, what is waiting? You reap what you sow, right? So if this is from the foundation, the second they get here, they enslave people. And they didn't stop that up until today. What is awaiting this place? But a lot of y'all want to hold on to America. It's crazy. Crazy. Press play.
Enslaved Africans have been shipped to the Americas since the Spanish arrived in the early 1500s. Europeans purchased slaves along the coast of West and Central Africa. The chained captives were forced onto ships destined to the New World for the long and brutal voyage known as the Middle Passage. Conditions on the ships were indescribably inhumane. The enslaved Africans weren't treated as human beings. They were treated like cargo.
Men and women shackled together, stacked on top of each other. There was a process known as tight packing, where you literally had slave trading scientists who tried to figure out the maximum way to squeeze as many human beings as possible into the holds of these ships.
Incredibly, about 12.5 million Africans were shipped to the New World between 1525 and 1866.
Some people got the nerve to say the slave trade never happened. This was a span of 300 years. 300 years we were being shipped back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean. And this ain't counting what happened in the sub-Saharan slave trade, when we were taken to India and everywhere else on the other side of the earth. Go ahead, press play.
About 15% didn't survive the journey.
4 centuries of trafficking in human beings. And over the course of that time, we're talking about millions of souls involved and millions of souls lost. And yet people endured. And yet they survived.
The overwhelming majority went to destinations other than North America. Of the 12.5 million Africans shipped to the New World as slaves, it's estimated about 450,000 landed on our shores. While a law passed by Congress in 1808 banned the transatlantic slave trade, thousands of slaves are estimated to have been smuggled into our country up to the Civil War. By 1860, the enslaved population in the United States had grown to about 4 million people, a staggering number when you consider that the national population at the time was 31 million. The horrors of slavery in the United States would persist until 1865, when following the end of the Civil War, the 13th Amendment was ratified. But the repercussions of institutional slavery are still being felt to this day, as African Americans continue to fight for equal rights and for the right to be heard.
You can tell you. So, our history is in the Bible. As bad, as horrible as that is, what happened to us, guess what? That is an identifying marker of who we are. Give me Deuteronomy 28:68. And somehow the white man tried to say this ain't us. Cap, they try to say that this ain't us. Crazy. And some of you black apologetics believe it. You follow the white man and believe what he's telling you with more of his witchcraft. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt means bondage. Egypt means bondage. Read.
Again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
And this is the thing. Okay. If we ain't the people, explain to me why did 400 years of international slave ships happen? Why did that happen to our people? If this ain't describing our history, who is it and why did it happen to us? And who did fulfill that? That's what you got to answer, Mr. White Man. You don't have an answer. Read.
Into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
And since we've been brought over here, they just told you, over here in America alone, we were 450,000. Today we had over 40 million. We ain't made it back to the shores of Africa yet. Why is that? Because we the people of the book. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
We were sold when we got off those slave ships. Read.
For bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you.
No man shall buy you, meaning redeem you. We're going to show you that later. Nobody has redeemed us out of the situation that we're in. The brother just said it on the video. He said they are still fighting for their place here in America to this day. In 2023, we still having marches. We still trying to claim I am a man. That's still happening. Why? Because we are the Israelites of the Bible. From there, what we got next? What we got next? Go to the video. Yep. Play that.
So, there's some people out there getting upset whenever we say black labor built this country. But we're not making anything up, guys. These are facts. And we're about to present you with the historical receipts. In case you missed it, this is what we mean when we say we built this. Here's a quick history lesson for y'all. The first slaves were brought to the U.S. in 1619. Their job was simple, to make white settlers money. Slaves grew tobacco, rice, and indigo on the plantations of the southern coast. Now, fast forward to the late 18th century, cotton was king, and the U.S. was making stacks of cash on it, especially with all that free labor. Over 600 million, or just about half of the country's economic activity in 1836 came directly or indirectly from cotton. Cotton-producing slaves were just 6% of the population, but created almost half of 1 year's economic activity. We spoke with Professor Edward Baptist, the author of The Half Has Never Been Told.
That 6% figure is specifically the enslaved Africans and African Americans who were in the cotton producing regions. We're looking at like South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana.
Talk about being critical to a nation's economy.
I guess you can imagine some sort of science fiction world.
Y'all see what they got up there? They got the chariots. They know something. They got the chariot on there. Go ahead.
This didn't happen, but this is what did happen. Slave labor built the U.S.
And their contributions weren't limited.
He said slave labor built the U.S. Anybody with common sense can tell you that and know that. So if this nation, this beast, was built on slavery, it's going to die by slavery. Understand that. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Repercussions. What they say in life, there's going to be consequences and repercussions. That's what's going to happen to America. Understand that. From there, go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 16 and 17. Because it showed you what we were doing. It said rice, tobacco, cotton fields.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So we were cursed in the city, and we were cursed in the field. We just showed you that. When you are 6% of the population, and you're accounting for 50% of the economy, and you're being paid zero, that is a curse. That is a curse. And guess what? It's still the same thing today. Same exact thing today. Because guess what black people get paid? Minimum wage. Minimum wage is slavery. They're literally telling you, this is the least I can pay you. If I could pay you any less, I would. But they say I got to pay you $10 an hour. That's what I'm going to pay you, not a dollar more.
Cap, it's minimum wage is not a livable wage. Right, you know what I'm saying? It was a $7.25. Some places $10. Some places they're trying to push for $15. The point is, right now, you make this money and you're giving it back where? To your oppressor. Basically, you run and maintain this economy.
There you go. Still sharecropping. All over again. All right, play the Trail of Tears. We've been dealing with Judah. We're going to go back to Northern Kingdom. Y'all might have fell asleep. Northern Kingdom might think they was good.
Between 1830 and 1850, approximately 100,000 Native Americans were forced to abandon their ancestral homelands in the southeastern United States and relocate to Indian Territory in present-day Oklahoma. The relocation, known as the Trail of Tears, was a result of the Indian Removal Act of 1830, signed into law by President Andrew Jackson. The Cherokee Nation challenged the act in court, but their efforts were unsuccessful. As a result, the Cherokee and other tribes were forcibly removed from their homes and marched westward on foot, with thousands dying from disease, hunger, and exposure along the way. The Trail of Tears was a devastating and tragic event in American history, forever altering the lives of Native American tribes and their descendants. Today, it serves as a reminder of the destructive effects of forced assimilation on indigenous people.
So, it said they got this sad music, like this is so bad. Well, all I'm seeing is from 1492 up until to today, it ain't been nothing but blood shed. It started with bloodshed, continued with bloodshed. Nothing has changed. So you had the Indian Removal Act, or what they call the Trail of Tears. Play this one. Go ahead, play that.
In President Andrew Jackson's quest for westward expansion, he adopted a harsh policy toward Indians that reflected American attitudes at the time. Jackson believed in manifest destiny, represented in this 19th century painting, the concept that Americans were destined to expand west to the Pacific Ocean.
The early people who had used up their farmland for the most part in the East Coast, along the southern region as well, and were looking for new lands to farm.
But Americans looking for new fertile land often clashed with Indians unwilling to leave without a fight, either in combat or in court. The Cherokees actually won a Supreme Court case over land in Georgia, but Jackson ignored the decision.
Jackson was an Indian fighter from way back in the War of 1812 and after. He had led campaigns to destroy the Creek Indians in the South.
Determined to move Indians out of the way, he pressed Congress to pass the Indian Removal Act in 1830. It ordered what were known as the 5 civilized tribes, the Cherokees, Creeks, Choctaws, the Chickasaws, the Seminoles, to move to reservations in Oklahoma.
They were called civilized tribes because they had actually done what people like Jefferson and others had said Indians needed to do to be accepted. They had adopted white ways. They had taken up.
They adopted the white ways, and guess what? Esau still kicked them out the way. Showing you, that's like black people, we act surprised when we put on the white voice and we try to assimilate culture and they still do us wrong. We should have saw that's what they did to Northern Kingdom. That's what they did to the natives. Ain't nothing gonna change for us. We the same people.
Hey, Cap, just like they put them on reservations, they put you in the hood.
There you go.
It's the same thing.
There you go. Same thing. Project housing or project land. Which one you want? It's the same thing. Go ahead, press play.
Family farming, but the white man didn't care about that. They wanted that land, and they wanted Indians pushed out west of the Mississippi.
Between 1830 and 1838, thousands of Indians died on the trek to reservations. The journey became known as the Trail of Tears. Those who fought back, like the Sauk tribe led by Chief Blackhawk, were crushed by federal troops. By 1840, most of the eastern Indians were driven onto western reservations, which kept them in and the white population out.
All right, take that off. Give me Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. All of this is Bible prophecy. All of this is Bible prophecy, showing you what happened to our people on both sides is all in the Bible. This is how America was built. They want to teach you some story about the Pilgrims and the Indians coming together and forming America. That's not it. That is a lie. Read that.
The book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields.
And they what?
They covet fields.
They covet fields. They covet the land of the natives so much that they wrote a law called the Indian Removal Act. They made you walk from Georgia to Oklahoma. I wouldn't even drive that. I wouldn't drive that today. I'd catch a plane. They literally made you walk with all your belongings and your children. This man is the devil. You can try to say it any other way. That's not humane. He is a savage. He is a beast. And he had no problem. The Bible says treat your neighbor as you treat yourself. When was that applied? Where was John 3:16 when they wrote the Indian Removal Act? Where was it at? Because the Bible was there. They were forcing everybody to be Christian. They forgot about the Bible then. Read.
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
They take them by violence. Read.
And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house. Even a man and his heritage.
Even a man and his heritage. Now today he has become the Indian through the Dawes Act. That's why you got $5 Indians. This man take everything. Every dollar, every dime, every piece of land, every field, everything. From there, go to Psalms 94 in verse 20.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? America, read.
Which frameth mischief by a law.
What does he do?
Frameth mischief by a law.
So first they got the papal bull. Then they got the what is called the Constitution. Then they got the Indian Removal Act. Then they got Jim Crow. Then they got the Black Codes. They got all types of laws. All types of laws, but they're framing mischief by law. Read.
They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood.
And they condemn innocent blood. From there, go to Lamentations chapter 5. Lamentations chapter 5 and start at verse 1.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 1. Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
Our what?
Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
All the land of America was already occupied. That's what we must understand. All of this land was occupied, but it was taken. That is why they had to literally write laws to move them out of the way. Showing you they didn't discover nothing. They stole a lot. Read.
Our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless.
We are orphans and fatherless. Read.
Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money.
Read.
Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
That's what happened to us. This is what happened to us. The Bible's detailing and outlining exactly what happened to both kingdoms. Press play on that video. Go ahead, press play.
There are over 300 treaties that have been entered into by the President of the United States. These are contracts between sovereigns, and many court decisions in the modern era have been enforcing these.
Look at all them treaties. Look at all them treaties.
A lot of people disregard our treaties and say they're a thing of the past. Let's forget about them. That's simply not how it works. These treaties under the U.S. Constitution are the supreme law of the land.
We're going to keep reminding the United States of their obligations to us. It's about honoring my ancestors, and it's also about a continuation of a people. We're not talking about past history.
Hold on, go back. I want you to start at the beginning of that map, when that map was up there. Watch how much land they had at the beginning. Go the other way. I'm sorry, go the other way. I want y'all to see how much land the so-called natives had at the start. Keep going. Keep right there, bam. So the dark part of that map is all tribal lands. All of that was tribal lands. How much did it fill up? The whole country. The whole country was already occupied. Now press play.
A continuation of a people. We're not talking about past history. We're talking about today. Treaties are living documents because...
Pause. Look what they replaced it with. This man is the devil. He is the devil, and he did it with a pen. Press play.
Tribes continue to breathe life into them. We continue to speak their terms. We continue to remember the promises.
All right, go to Psalms 55 in verse 20. Psalms 55 and verse 20. Remember, we're showing you the underbelly of the beast. This is what America, that eagle, this is what he's built on. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
He have what?
Broken his covenant.
Because all of those treaties were agreements. Yeah, we ain't going to do this, we ain't going to do that. You just heard Andrew Jackson. They made an agreement. He said he forgot about it. They didn't acknowledge it. That's what the white man does. Read it again.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
He have what?
Broken his covenant.
Read.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Uh-huh.
But War was in his heart.
War was in this man's heart. That's all he know. That's all Esau know. If y'all been paying attention, since 1452, when the Dumb Verses was written, he ain't changed. He ain't changed to this day. Let's go to the next video.
They wanted to destroy our identity. And they put us on these boarding schools. I'm one of them that they put in these boarding schools. You know, destroy, kill the Indian, save the man. And over 100,000 children were taken from their homes and pulled, and a lot in our family, and I'm fighting, where am I going, where am I going? You know, my mom and my grandma are right there, and I'm trying to hold on to them, and they'd come and take us apart. And, but that scene was, multiply that by 100,000 children that were taken by force from their mothers and from their grandmas and grandparents. That destroyed the language, destroy the songs. Matter of fact, you couldn't sing any native song. You couldn't speak any native language. The vernacular would be English, and English only. That's how they wrote it up.
In the boarding schools?
Yeah. And there was corporal punishment there. But there was also, I mean, I was in a school where there was priests and nuns. That was the first one, and I heard the screams, and I was part of the screams, and the running away, and the beatings, and the whippings by belts and leather, and raping. I heard those screams. It's just, I hear it today.
All right. So, children taken from their parents. Is that in the Bible? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
All the day long, the children taken from them. Taken from. They literally went into the Native Americans' homes and took their children. And there was nothing they could do to stop them. This is history. We ain't making this up. That brother is alive. He's telling his story right in front of you. And vocab would tell you, nah, that ain't really what happened. Those weren't Christians. Yes, they were. Those were so-called Christian missionaries. That's America. Because America been doing that. They've been doing it.
Hey, Cap, and in every reservation you go to, because I've been to some, they have what? A church set up with the priests, right? To continue, keep them indoctrinated, keep them peaceful, right? They don't want Gad to rise up.
So do the natives, they fine with the church being there?
They fine with it being there, but as we speak to them, nothing's going on in the community.
Right.
Nothing is happening, meaning no help is being done.
Right.
They're not receiving help, right? And as well, we talked to one native brother, and the language, as he was talking about, the language is desolate. Nobody knows their native language.
Damn. Go to next video.
Almost immediately, most former rebel states enact harsh laws known as black codes.
The Black Codes are laws designed to regulate the lives of blacks, in particular to control their movements throughout the South and to force them back onto the plantations as farm laborers working for the white landlords.
Pause. So this is post-slavery. They said, all right, everybody's free, but they come up with more laws to put you right back into slavery by a different name. Go ahead.
Some codes prohibit blacks from owning firearms. buying liquor, or engaging in any trade or business other than farming. The land promised to the freedmen is returned to unrepentant rebels, sentencing blacks to a landless existence for generations to come. Often, white landowners would hire freed slaves to work the harvest, only to chase them off the land when their wages came due. Unable to collect their meager earnings, many blacks starved to death.
Johnson looked the other way as these ex-Confederate governments reimposed stringent controls over the black race through the black codes, which were a de facto form of slavery in that they regulated the daily lives of blacks, much like apartheid in South Africa.
Some states go so far as to legalize the beatings of former slaves who are considered to have misbehaved.
Beating black people who step out of line for, things such as not getting off the sidewalk when you see a white man or white woman walking by. So small infractions are things that can be perceived as shucking that Southern way of life, so to speak.
So post-slavery, you had the black codes. All right. Go to the next video.
When the American Civil War ends, the U.S. government enters Reconstruction with 3 amendments to the Constitution. Slavery is abolished, and former slaves are granted citizenship and the right to vote. At the state and local level, white Southern Democrats implement laws to suppress the political and economic gains made by African Americans. Under the Separate but Equal Clause, the U.S. Supreme Court legitimizes segregation and social discrimination, treating black people as second-class citizens. Known collectively as Jim Crow laws, after a racial depiction performed in blackface, these laws reinforce racial prejudice and deny rights to black people in the United States. Federal legislation brings the Jim Crow era to an end, yet its long shadow still looms large over the struggle for equality.
So, you had the black codes, then you had Jim Crow laws. All right, right after we get out of slavery, these things happen. Now, there's another thing that happened. The 13th Amendment was brought in as well. Well, the understanding of the 13th Amendment, because when it abolished slavery, it also instituted it in another name. Go ahead, press play.
1 out of 4 human beings with their hands on bars, shackled, in the world are locked up here in the land of the free.
Hold on, pause.
Khalif Bragg.
1 out of 4 people that are locked up, they are here in America. We got 25% of the prison population. Do you know why? Because America was built on slavery. So now it can't legally enslave people, so it got to do it another way. And the prison system is the biggest secret out there. Those that are involved in it, you understand it, you see it. But if you don't know, it's like something that you don't even know exists. But it's big. It's big. Go ahead.
1 out of 4 human beings with their hands on bars, shackled, in the world are locked up here in the land of the free.
Khalif Browder was walking home from a party when he was stopped by police.
Then they said, we're going to take you to the precinct, and most likely we're going to let you go home. And then I never went home.
13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave. There are exceptions, including criminals.
The loophole was immediately exploited. What you got after that was a rapid transition to a mythology of black criminality.
Animals, beasts that needed to be controlled. You better believe it. I'm only human.
It became virtually impossible.
So this ain't pictures. This is live. You can see this with the same beast that we read about in the 1400s is the same beast in 1970, 1980, 2023.
This is reality, kid.
Right. Now I'm bringing it up till today. It ain't changed. Press play.
for a politician to run and appear soft on crime.
The kinds of kids that are called super predators.
Millions of dollars will be allocated for prison and jail facilities.
3 strikes.
So in the Dumb Diverses, they said anybody that was not a Christian. Now they're just saying you're a criminal. Now if you're a criminal, we're going to put you in slavery. Before, the perpetual servitude was based upon you not being a Christian. Now it's based upon you being a criminal. But you're getting the same treatment. Go ahead.
And you are out. It was an enormous burden on the black community, but it also violated a sense of core fairness.
The states were required to keep these prisons filled, even if nobody was committing a crime.
It's so difficult to talk about mass incarceration because it has become heavily monetized.
The focus is on taking people from prison, putting them in community corrections, parole and probation.
How much progress is it really if now there's a private company making money off the GPS monitor?
We now have more African Americans under criminal supervision than all the slaves back in the 1850s.
There's more African Americans in prison today than they had slaves in 1850. How is that? And we're free. But y'all want to celebrate July 4th. You want to believe the white man when he tell you he your friend. Go ahead, press play.
We are the products of the history that our ancestors chose. Products of that set of choices that we have to understand in order to escape from
After all, don't put the blame on me.
That documentary is called 13th. I think it's called 13 or 13th. That was a great documentary. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. Sister did an excellent job outlining the prison industry. Let me show you. The Bible speaks about it as well. Go to Isaiah 42 and 22. Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
This is a people what?
Robbed and spoiled.
We've been robbed and spoiled for a long time. From the conquistadors to the cops. We still the same prey being picked up. Read.
They are all of them snared in holes. And they are hid in prison houses.
And they are what?
Hid in prison houses.
And we are hid in prison houses. Read.
They are for a prey, and none deliver it. For a spoil, and none saith restore.
Nobody is saying restore them. We are for a prey, and none saith restore. Psalms 94 and 16. What happens to those that do want to restore their people? That do see the beast for who he is? That sees America for a blood-sucking machine? What happens to them? Read that.
Psalms chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
All right, so who will rise up for me against the workers of iniquity? We're going to show you what happened to our forefathers and foremothers who tried to stand up to this beast that rules the earth. All right, pull that article up. Let me show you what happens to our people when they try to stand up to America.
News 1, the top 5 assassinations of black leaders. Today, political assassination.
Scroll down because we ain't got time. We just got to read the names. Scroll down. All right, read that one and then read the subtitle underneath it.
Medgar Evers.
Medgar Evers. He tried to rise up for his people throughout the NAACP. Murdered. Scroll down. That was in the Scroll back up. What year was that? He don't say the year. 1994. No, that's when they convicted him. But it happened in the 60s. He was murdered. Scroll down. Fred Hampton, leader of the Black Panther Party, murdered 1968. And he was only over the Black Panthers like a year or two. They were terrified of this young man. I believe he was 21 or 22. Very young. How old he was? 21 years old. Murdered. Scroll down. Henry and Harriet Moore, the first leaders, the founders of the NAACP, murdered. Their house was bombed on Christmas Day by the KKK. Scroll down. Malcolm X, murdered, assassinated. Scroll down. Martin Luther King. Now this is the one that's everybody know he was assassinated. But the problem with it is they know they're assassinated, and then they try to use his words to justify us not coming against the white man for who he is. But you killed the man. You killed him. All of these incidents, yep, that's when Medgar Evers was killed, June 12, 1963. So what happens to our leaders? When they stand up, they are killed. They are assassinated. And then you wonder why people are in the state they're in. The black people don't have no leaders. Oh, we got leaders. Y'all killed them all. That's what happened to them, white man. You killed and murdered all our people. Now, from there, where we at? Got the article. Let's show you what happened. They also, not only did they assassinate our leaders, let me show you what else they did to our people. Go ahead, press play on that.
Gary Webb, San Jose Mercury News.
You believe in conspiracy theories, Gary?
No, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Conspiracies, yes. If I believe it, there's nothing theory about it.
Was the government aware that you were smuggling tons of cocaine into the United States?
Yes, the government knew.
This leads to very sensitive national security matters.
National security and crack cocaine, the same sentence. Does that not sound strange to you?
I'm going to tell you the whole truth. I'm going to introduce you to people you should talk to. And then you will be faced with the most important decision of your life.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Deciding whether to share it or not.
One of the DEA's most wanted brought in thousands of kilos of cocaine to the U.S. every day. For them.
For who?
The U.S. government. Or with them. Or at least while they were looking the other way.
Jesus.
L.A., New York, Atlanta. I couldn't sell it fast enough to keep up with supply.
So, after you had the 60s and 70s, you had the war on drugs. The war on drugs. The problem with the war on drugs is the main substance was crack or cocaine. The problem with that is it doesn't grow in America. I don't know if y'all seen any hoods. I ain't from Chicago, but I've been riding around. It ain't too much farmland out here. It's a lot of project buildings and old rundown houses. How does crack get in the inner cities of Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Miami, Chicago? How? The white man literally brought drugs into the neighborhood. And then he locks you up for selling the drug. Go ahead, press play.
Fancy information you have there. Dangerous.
What you found here, Gary, is a monster. You have no idea what you're getting into. You really telling me that I should just walk away from this?
You'd be an idiot not to.
This story scares people.
I'm your big brother. Well, it should.
Be careful.
There are ongoing operations you're in danger of exposing.
We know you were in Nicaragua. Am I being followed?
Found a solution, where you be for the revolution.
I thought my job was to tell the public the truth, the facts, pretty or not. And let the publishing of those facts make a difference in how people look at things, at themselves, at what they stand for.
We'd never threaten your children, Mr. Webb.
What'd you say?
It's over.
I'm not finished with it! Not finished!
This is a true story. Some stories are just too true to tell.
All right, take it off. So, he said, notice, he said, some stories are too true to be told. Go to Psalms chapter 10 and verse 2. So, after Jim Crow, after the Black Codes, after the civil rights, then they institute the war on drugs. The war on drugs, guess what? I see this common people that's being targeted. Do y'all see that? All of these things, it's the same people being, it ain't the Chinese, it ain't the Europeans, it's always black people in the middle of every movement on the face of the earth in America. Interesting. Read that.
Psalms chapter 10, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor.
He what?
Persecute the poor.
He persecutes the poor. Read.
Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Uh-huh.
For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth.
Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages.
He sits in the lurking places. He plants crack in your neighborhood. Read.
In the secret places doth he murder the innocent.
Does he what?
Murder the innocent.
He murders our people. He allows you to sell drugs for years, and then he comes and tears down the whole operation. When he was the man that created the whole thing. That's what he does. Then he lock you up in prison. And guess what? While you're in prison, you working for them. For free. And then you right back on the plantation all over again. I'm telling you. Conspiracy theory not. This is true. Go to Psalm 64 in verse 2. Psalm chapter 64 and verse 2.
Psalm chapter 64, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
From the secret counsel of the wicked.
From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Uh-huh.
Who whet their tongue like a sword.
Who whet their tongue like a sword. All right, I'm running out of time. I ain't going to get through all my topics. So, let's say you made it through Jim Crow. You made it through the Black Codes. You made it through the Civil Rights Movement. You made it through the war on drugs. Now you say, I want to chase the American dream. I want to be an entertainer. Let's see what happens when you go into the entertainment world. Nope, not school to prison. Yep, there we go. Press play.
This music industry is a God blessing. You need to stop it. God don't like that we in this music business. God don't like that we talking about money, cars, and clothes and hoes. So if you want to be in this music industry and you want to get money, understand what it comes with. That it's not from God, it's from the devil. Understand, I just want you to understand that, because I don't want y'all to get lost in the sauce and complain what y'all going through and why y'all going through it. Period. It's not from God. Stop saying it's a God blessing. It's not from God. It's from the devil. He gives you what you want so you can destroy yourself.
Now, what you saw right there was a video of 21...
Go to the next video. So that's a musical artist, he tell you. So another sister, a lot of y'all know this sister. She been acting for a long time. She telling you about the industry.
Entertainment industry, it's about influence. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, full-on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, dressed as a demon, got upside-down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes. People think that this stuff is just a game. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that. But either way, the things that you take in, that they're feeding you, those things affect you. Whether you realize it in the moment or not, they affect you. That's why they do it. I'm not going to sacrifice the honesty in order to be politically correct. I can say whatever I have to say with respect, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it bluntly.
All right. So there's two entertainers. We can show videos on that for years. That's been coming out for a long time. Entertainment industry that America is built on. Guess what? It runs through Satan. It runs through Satan. So every shape, form, and fashion of this land is built on Rome. Jeremiah 22 and 13. Jeremiah 22 and 13.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 22 and verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness.
Read it again.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness.
Now I've been teaching for 2 hours. What righteousness has America built its nation on? I ain't seen nothing yet. And we've been skipping over a lot of stuff because of time constraints. This place was built on evil and murder and covetousness and greed and rape, robbery, murder, witchcraft. Read it again.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work.
And giveth him not for his work. America has not issued the natives or the so-called black Hispanics a dime. We haven't got anything, not a dollar. And we don't want it. Because guess what? Anything you can give us, it ain't going to be better than the coming kingdom that's coming. Because guess what? When Christ cracked the sky, guess what? He going to show you a 13th Amendment. It's going to be everlasting damnation for all these nations that came against us. Everlasting slavery. That what they tried to give us, the perpetual servitude, they're going to find out what that look like. Because Christ is going to implement it. Understand that. And he ain't going to be unrighteous for doing it either. He ain't going to be unrighteous for doing it. Give me Jeremiah 50 and 33.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord God, the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
They were what?
Oppressed together.
Read.
And all that took them captives held them fast.
They did what?
Held them fast. They refused to let them go.
You see that? All of these things, all of those the laws and things that they put in, none of them did they try to kick us out of America. They ain't never tried to send us back. That would have been the easy thing, right? If you don't like somebody, you just get rid of them. But guess what? They want us to stay here because they want us to work. They want us to work and build this place. And that's what we done. To this day, we still sustain everything that America does. We are the heartbeat of America. The second we leave, this place is finished. That's why it says they refuse to let us go. 2nd Ezra 11. We're going to end here. 2nd Ezra 11. We're going to read all the way down. I think I want 12. What we want to start at? 2nd Ezra 11:39, I think. Yep, let's start there.
2nd Ezra, chapter 11 and verse 39.
So remember, the title of the class is The Underbelly of the Beast. These are the hidden things that they don't outwardly show you. When you go to Ellis Island as an immigrant and they teach you how to be an American, they won't teach you any of those things. But the prophet's going to show it to you. Go ahead, read.
2nd Ezra, chapter 11, verse 39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world?
Read.
That the end of their times might come through them.
The end of the world is coming through this beast known as America. Read.
And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness.
Read.
And over the whole compass of the earth, with much wicked oppression.
With what?
Much wicked oppression.
With much wicked oppression. And we illustrated that to you. On all those videos, that is the much wicked oppression that this man has brought on the earth. Read.
And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
You see that? With deceit. That's why he's known what? As Mystery Babylon. Read.
For the earth hast thou not judged with truth.
You see that? This earth ain't been judged with truth. Because for over 500 years, this nation is still on the face of the earth. It is still untouched. It is still a virgin. Read.
For thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable.
Read.
Thou hast loved liars.
They love liars. They have Columbus Day and they know what he did. They know how he treated our people. And they still celebrate him. Read.
And destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit. And has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
Right. The natives did nothing but open arms to the so-called white man, European man. And how did he repay him? Rape, robbery, and murder. Read.
Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty.
Now all of that wickedness is getting to God. It has, in Revelations, it says your sins have reached the sky, have reached the heavens. Read.
The highest also have looked upon the proud time, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled.
Read.
And therefore appear no more, thou eagle.
Appear no more, thou eagle. Read.
Nor thy horrible wings.
Uh-huh.
Nor thy wicked feathers.
Read.
Nor thy malicious head.
Uh-huh.
Nor thy hurtful claws.
Read.
Nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed.
When this man is removed, the earth will be refreshed. Read.
And may return, being delivered from thy violence.
Uh-huh.
And that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
All right, so with that, we say shalom. Lord's will, y'all learn something. Make sure you tune in for the deacons and the bishop's class the rest of the day. Shalom.
Boy, don't you flatter me. Wanna rat on me, but that won't rat on me. I got the heart for the mission to carry me. You not the first one.